Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Leftovers, Season 2, Episode 5. It's called No Room at the Inn. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So this was a Matt episode, and I feel that's quite prominent because as much as this season's been a lot more focused, where certainly the first three it was like this is a new family, right? This is the new family's episode. This is the Garveys episode. This is the Tom and Laurie episode. Four sort of merged things together a little bit, and that's fine. But still very felt Kevin focused, I'd say. And this is
Yeah.
the Matt episode, so it feels very part of this overall season. However, it's notable because season one also had a Matt episode, even when it wasn't doing that in general.
Yes.
It did. I mean, it did it a few times. Nora had an episode, of course, later on in the season, so there was a couple of examples. But like Matt was the first one in season one where he actually felt like an episode. No, this is about this one character, and
Yeah.
this was very
That
much about him.
was quite early on in season one as well, wasn't it? It was like three or four.
Episode three, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was, and actually, as soon as like, because obviously it starts with this sort of montage of him like going about his day with Mary, like feeding her, brushing her teeth, all that kind of thing, going through the motions. And as soon as I realised it was a Matt episode, I got a little bit worried. I was like, oh god, this is going to be miserable because, and then admittedly, like, we've only had one before this, but I already associate Matt episodes with putting him through as much awful things as we can possibly imagine to see if he can take it.
Yeah, because that's all the episode was last season. Yeah, that was it.
I thought it was interesting actually. At one point in this, he's even trying to get some money, which I thought harkened back to that episode because that episode was entirely about him trying
Yeah,
to raise money.
there was a point, where he stops to help someone. I'm like, oh God, Matt, not again.
Oh yeah. See when he stopped to help that car, I was like, no, Matt, it's a trap. It's a
It's like we
stop
saw
it.
this last time. You stopped to help, and uh
So this was. I mean, it wasn't the exact same, of course, but there was those little connections that made us think of the last time he had an episode. This one, of course, we're in this world now where he's been living in a miracle. The night he arrived, he says that Mary woke up, and there's a line early on when it's like because he's filming her sleeping every night, and he's like reviewing the footage in the morning to see if she's woken up during the night. He's trying to like catch it happening, and at first we see it like three times. It goes through the full day three times in montage with this. It's like the song starts playing when he hits the radio in the morning, and then it stops when they go to bed, but it starts again the next morning. It's very repetitious, but each time he's getting more restless. You can see he's getting frustrated that there's no change. First day he's really hopeful. He's like classic Matt as we think of him, and then second day a little bit more frustrated. Day three, he looks like he's about to snap. Like he's sick of eating that same burrito,
he
basically.
is, yeah.
Which at first, actually, I mean, it wasn't until I said it that I got that he was recreating the exact day. I just sort of thought, I just thought he was hard for
He really
money.
liked that burrito.
No, I just thought he was being poor, so he had to like have this dinky little burrito that he just puts in the microwave, or he couldn't
Fair
cook
enough.
for himself. Maybe I don't know. It felt I didn't necessarily get that he was doing the exact thing for a reason
Yeah,
until he said it, of course, which is fair enough. Then it made sense.
yeah, of course.
But he has this thing, so he turns to her in bed and he's like, Mary, I need you to look at me. He starts pleading with her. And it's got a really good ending of the scene because he sees what he's doing in the camera because it's just a webcam on a laptop and the
Yeah.
whole screen is just what the camera's picking up. And when he realizes that he sees himself at holding her face, pleading for her to like do something, he sees what it looks like and he doesn't like it. Like he's seeing the harsh reflection of what he's becoming, and he gets up and closes it, and that's when we cut to the still awful opening titles. I still hate that opening title music. I just want you to know that. So someone commented on the first one, said, I hope it grows on you." Like, no.
No, no, it doesn't grow on me either.
If anything, I'm just hating it more because now I've had to go through it 5 times.
I get to every time and I feel like maybe I should skip ahead, and then I can never be bothered to actually do it.
Nah, that's like just checking your Twitter notifications time that minute.
Yeah, pretty much.
It gives you that little window to just like double check your notifications
It's
before
a shame it's so near to the start of the episode because you typically you check stuff before you start it. It's like no, usually not that much has happened in that 3 or 4 minutes.
halfway through would be nice. That
Would.
that'd be the nice
Surprise
thing.
me, giving me 20 minutes in, give me an excuse to have a break for a minute.
But don't take that as we want ads every 5 minutes, right?
No, of course not.
And obviously it's a HBO show, so it never had that anyway. But like, no. We don't want ads every 5 minutes. That's not what we're saying. Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, so he talks to her and he mentions the night she woke up, which we heard about neatly in the last. It's actually quite neat how they did that. They brought it up in the last episode, and then it leads us into a Matt episode. Very very swish, very comfortable. And he brings it up and he's like, "You woke up and we talked and he does this little pause and he doesn't quite say what he was about to say." And I went,
But
"Oh
you know
no,
what he said. You know what he was
yeah,
thinking.
oh no, they had sex. Oh no!" And immediately I was like, "Oh god, she's pregnant. Oh, this is going to look so
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. It
Oh
was
god.
straight away. It was like, oh
Oh,
no, Matt,
oh."
oh come on.
Oh, and then they go to the hospital, and it's because he wants to see if there's any change to her because she did wake up that one time. But we're like, and he gets called back in. He's like, "Oh, there's a change in her condition." It's like, but I thought there was no change. Well, nothing. Well, it's actually John later on. It says nothing beside the pregnancy, but it's like I know what he's going to say. This. He's not even a doctor. He's just like someone who works at the hospital. He's like the manager, I guess,
Doing
or
something on
whatever.
the administrative side.
Yeah, but that's why he's talking to him. It's because it's not about the medical side of it. It's about no. This is a liability now. I'm
Yeah, it's
talking
the
to you.
legal side.
Yeah, um, and as soon as he says it, like Matt gets all happy at first because if you remember they couldn't have kids, so there is
Yeah,
like even if like he's either mistaken or he's lying about her waking up, there is an element of miracle happening here in the sense that she couldn't have kids before. They couldn't do
right.
it. They tried and they failed, and they were trying for a long time. So for a moment, you almost get caught up in this. Like, oh yeah, you're right. They couldn't have kids, and like I get why he's happy. And at first, I'm like, well, the other guy's not reacting too much yet. Maybe, maybe this won't be as frowned upon as I'm thinking it should be. And then there's the line about, oh, well, we didn't ask her before she went into the machine, the MRI, because she couldn't give consent. And I went, oh no. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, she couldn't give consent for anything, if you catch my drift. And I'm like, oh, I get your drift. I get your drift. Yes, this is bad.
We all do.
And the funny thing is I like Matt is so genuine, and I believe him when he says he would never do it. Right. Here's the thing. So after this, like he's all happy they're going to have a kid, and he's like, oh, there's a 90% chance it's going to miscarriage because of her condition, because she's not an active person, and they're driving home and they see the car pull over, and obviously the whole horror of the event happens where the guy hits him on the head, crushes his hand with his foot to get his wristband off so they can get into Miracle.
Mm.
And these kids witnessing this whole thing as well. So there's this weird thing where this innocent child's witnessing his father do this whole thing. So it feels very biblical in that sense, with all these big themes. But it's after he's passed out for a bit and he's waking up, and there's a scene where we actually see him see her speak.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that nothing's made me doubt if she actually woke up more than the scene of seeing her actually speak, because
See,
this feels completely in his head. This scene.
I think this one is,
Yeah.
but this one is he's just got smacked on the head. We see the massive cut on his head that he's got hit with.
Oh, sure. I'm not disputing.
Right. So I think this one is in his head. But
No, I'm not saying it's the other one was in his head. I'm saying this is the biggest doubt that I have
Right,
had.
okay.
I'm saying that if there's elements of doubt, this is the one that does it. This is the one that really sort of went, oh, you know what? There is a chance he might just be imagining this.
maybe. I'm not sure if even he's convinced that she was awake this time, though. Like, I think maybe he's on some level aware that it was up from the head hit.
Maybe he doesn't really indicate anything to that effect.
He doesn't, but he doesn't indicate like the other way either. So he's not because he.
Why would he indicate
No,
anything
but
the other
he,
way?
but he still whenever he talks about her waking up, she was like she woke up the once. Even after that, he never mentions that she spoke to him then.
Okay, fair.
Which is why I'm thinking that he knows that this was in his head, and it was just himself encouraging him to get back almost.
I could easily write that off as an oversight because he's emotional, and it's such a small example compared to 3 hours where they had sex.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could see that going either way, but
I guess, but I think it's just the whole idea that this would be the second time she was aware and said something, and this one was outside the town.
so at
as
the
well.
town, yeah, so at the town. Okay, that's fair, but I still this is I'm not saying I don't believe him. I'm saying that this is the first time where I actually doubted it. Where I kind of see how this might have happened. Where he thinks it happened, like.
Yeah, he definitely believes that it.
Oh yeah, no,
regardless.
I don't doubt that he believes it. I don't think he's lying at all. But this was the first time where it gave me something where I went, you know what? There's a chance he did just imagine this. That this was in his head rather than her actually. And I'm not necessarily saying I think, like, I'm still leaning towards it of, it's actually happened. I'm still very
Yeah.
much leaning in that direction. I'm just saying there's a chance. I don't think it's completely set in stone.
No, no, that's fair.
I just first elements of doubt, like plausible deniability, or it's the opposite, I guess. It's plausible. What's the opposite of deniability?
Confirmation?
But yeah, plausible confirmation. Is that even a phrase?
I don't think it is. I think we've just made that up.
But you get what I mean.
Yeah.
We just flipped it on its head, right? Okay, so he's like, okay, we're getting back to the town, and of course he's going up to the guard, and he's like, oh, we actually live here, and he's like, and the funny thing is, I'm thinking the entire time, well, there should be a procedure for this, like, especially since I think people who leave the town and try to come back, getting attacked and having their wristbands taken is probably not that rare.
No, it's the thing where I believe this happens, especially after we saw, when he was going to leave, you had the runners coming in. You see
Yeah.
this, you see how desperate these people really are. I don't think we'd really got a sense of that before.
Yeah, so you really get the idea that this is probably not that rare occasion or not that hard to believe. And it's like you go to the visitor centre, go through the process, and they try, and there seems to be a problem because he's trying to say his name and like he's not got ID on him. But again, it feels like there should be some sort of, even if it's just a case of letting him stay in the visitor centre for or a few hours while they double check he's like just approve what he's saying, confirm it. And
I think the problem is if they had to do that for every person who came with a story, they'd never get anything done.
That's true, but like it feels like at the very least there should be a record that there's someone with that name in there.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, at the very least there should be procedure for this. Okay, there should be a couple of quick ways to like just rule them
Yeah,
out. As
like the way he convinced the guard, where he was like, "Look,
Yeah.
look, I know all these places intimately." Like, the sort of way that, yeah, I guess you could Google them and get that information, but it's so specific that a lot of it is like,
and plus I think he even said one or two names, like who owned a certain place or.
right.
I think he said something like that. So it's like, yeah, like he's clearly been in here at least, if not living there. So, yeah, so you feel it should be. So obviously he does get a chance to phone Kevin and Nora. Like he quickly, so the person gives him the phone. And he ends up getting into a fight with the guy behind him who's like determined to get in for a wedding. Presumably he's got family inside the town who are getting married, and they're all in their tuxedos trying to get in. And this guy's an asshole. Like he's just berated him like the entire time trying to get in. And Matt gets into this fight to the point where he's zip tied, but eventually Kevin shows up, and now obviously I glance over at the time on the episode. I'm like, okay, we're only halfway through. There's no way this is just neatly getting wrapped up here.
Yeah.
And John's with him, and I'm like, oh, okay, right. So, and as John even says, he owes Kevin. So he's here to maybe help, and he's like, okay, he knows he lives there. He's seen him in the church, even if he's suspicious of him. From his, and again, now we know he's suspicious because he doesn't believe there's actual miracles. So he's looking for people who are claiming that, which obviously leads to this one of the highlight scenes of the episode, I think, is where he's like, okay, right, I can get you your new wristbands and so on and so forth. And he starts questioning about where he went. I was like, oh, you went to the hospital. He's like, oh, was there a change in her condition? No, there wasn't. And that's when he has the line, except the pregnancy. And of course, Kevin's like standing behind him the whole time, and he's just like, huh?
Yeah. Because I assume Kevin knew that they couldn't have kids as well. On top of,
yeah.
like just how it looks, I think he was close enough with Matt. Because obviously, we haven't really saw a lot of their relationship, but we know that, Matt was a family friend through his dad. They were like they knew each other fairly well already.
Yeah. I don't know like how much they were sharing that with everyone, though.
No, maybe not. But I guess I assume Nora at least knew, so he probably know. Like he's kind of like part of the family. So
that said, I can completely buy though that Nora's just not meant. It's just not came up because it's like
no, that's true.
Because I can buy that it equally could and couldn't have come up, but there's not necessarily a reason for it to have come up. Because since they've been together, she's Mary's had that condition.
I think Matt shares so much in his sermons that I assume he shared this as well as part of one of his stories.
Are you saying Kevin's going to church? Is that what you're saying to me?
No. I'm just assuming it's public knowledge, like back in the town.
That's fair. I can see that in there. I'd have almost like maybe a moment from just like Kevin's reactions where he sort of doubled on it, where maybe it was how it looks at first, and then he had like a moment like, wait a minute, like almost like a moment where he realised, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get that little sort of extra moment. And I'm wondering if maybe he's not even realised that yet. Like maybe next episode we'll see like a
Yeah, it could be maybe he doesn't know, and he'll tell
yeah.
Nora, and she'll be like, "But hang on."
Yeah, like they'll be talking about it, and they'll be like, but wait, they couldn't have kids. Like she'll know this intimately.
She'll definitely
Oh,
know.
of course she'll know. She's the sister.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, even then, I mean, given who Matt is, I assume she knows. I wouldn't necessarily say that it was unbelievable though. If this is the kind of thing that a couple just kept to themselves and never told anyone, even their family
No,
members.
I agree,
Yeah.
but then we saw the two of them were quite close.
Oh yeah, sure. No, I think she does, but at the same time, like if this was like just a random other family, I wouldn't question if they hadn't told
No.
everyone, kind of thing, or anyone. So, uh, but aye, so this is going on, and he starts questioning it, and he's like, look, in 5 months, give or take, when she starts the show, I'll let you in, I'll get your wristbands, but there's a condition. You're going and he actually basically nails the story that Matt has. He's like, you're going to say she woke up and she was okay, when you got to the town. And during that time, you made love, and that's what the result of this is. But obviously, he does frame it as if that's just the story, but you're going to tell him the truth, that never happened. You're going to say that you were alone, and that you shouldn't have done it, and you felt lonely, blah, 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 blah. And to my amazement, Matt actually agrees. Like, he kind of gets what the choice is here.
Yeah, it's kind of Matt's lowest moment on a personal level for him.
Yeah, like he's willing to do. You can tell he doesn't like it. Like obviously he doesn't, but he's willing to go along with it because he believes he needs to get her in. And
which I think that just shows just how desperate he is, because we've seen how uncompromising he is on his morals. Time and time again.
I think that's Mary. I think if it's just him, I think it is and you kind of see that in the rest of the episode as well. But if it is just him, I think he is uncompromising. But when it's about protecting her, it's like, okay, it's time to.
He'll do what he has to then.
Yeah. But of course he can't just let it go, because he's reading John through this whole thing, and it's John's ready to go. Right, we've made the deal. He's walking out, and he's like, "What did this place do to you?" Or what happened to you? Or whatever way he phrased it. He's like, "What? Excuse me?" He's like, "You hate this place, and it's not just your daughter going missing because you were like that before. What did this place do to you?" And this pushes such a personal button that John's not willing to talk about, that he just completely takes the offer back. Well, nah, I'm not going to help you, and walks out.
Yeah.
And Kevin obviously tries to call him back in, but he,
There's nothing he can do, yeah.
he chastises Matt for saying, Matt, seriously, did you have to say that? Did you have to poke the bear? Did you have to do that?
Yeah, it's like, really, now?
And he gets shoved back out. And this is where, because on the way in, when he was going in the wheelchair, he encountered this Swedish guy who's in the, because it's when he's walking through, and especially when he's coming back out, you see how kind of, I don't want to say deranged, but I kind of do want to say deranged, how this, these followers, these almost cult-like people outside, well, some case cult-like, some case just desperate, but there's lots of random people who are just topless for no reason. And that's both men and women. In fact, one of the guys that comes up, and in fact, one of the most helpful people who gives him directions somewhere is wearing nothing but a pair of shorts, and he's really big, and it's if I ran into you in the street, I'd probably think you were a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
Just the way you're dressed right now, but it's Matt's just trying to do his thing, and he's seeing all this weird shit as he's walking through, and there's the person up in the not shackles. What do you call the wooden thing?
See, I'm gonna say stocks, but I know that's not accurate. Even though everyone calls those stocks, I can't remember what those ones actually. Stocks are for your feet.
Okay, right.
But it's that.
Aye. Anyway,
Me, I can't remember.
so he's in the whole thing, and he says, and so someone notices him staring and says, "Oh, do you want to let him go?" It's like, well, I mean, he's naked, he's in these things, stuff's been thrown at him, and she's like, well, you can take his place then. And obviously that just makes him kind of shocked. He's not sure how to respond to that, what, and she's like, yeah, that's what I thought. And that's kind of where we leave it. Obviously this comes back in later, but this is just one of the examples of things he sees. And it feels like quite a cesspool of a mix of different people. You get the impression that there's a lot of drug use going on in various places. Yeah. Even the Swedish guy, they're all sitting getting high as he finds him. And this is where he's told, oh yeah, I've got a back door in, but you're going to need to give me $1,000, and he's only got like 400 odds. So he has to try and go and make the money, which is where it kind of reminded me a little bit more of the first episode he had in season 1, because it was all about making money. Well, this one's a little bit stranger. So he sees a cross. He thinks, "Oh, Christians! I can go talk to some Christians and see if they'll help me out." And he talks to this woman who kind of quizzes him just to see that he's not bullshitting when he's asking to borrow money, and she's like quizzing him on all these different things from the Bible, which he of course nails.
Yeah, she wants, because he's saying, "Oh, I'm a reverend," to play on her faith, clearly.
Yeah.
So she's just making sure that he actually is.
Yeah. And then she gives him a task. Like, she brings out who I'm assuming is her son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some big ginger guy, and he's asked to hit him with a not it's
An
not actually
oar.
a paddle, it's an oar. Yeah, because there's a good funny line at the end where he's like, "Is that hard enough, or do I need another oar?" But he's asked to hit him as hard as he can with the oar, and shout out the word Brian.
Yeah.
Maybe someone can tell me, maybe in a biblical sense, what Brian is relevant to.
Well, I've been racking my brains. Like this, I was raised Catholic. I'm familiar with a lot of the Bible, but it means nothing to me.
Yeah, no.
Annoyingly, I keep just going to Monty Python's Life of Brian, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but not quite what this is getting at, I'm sure.
So he obviously he does it kind of softly a few times, and then eventually does it, and that's when we get the funny line. And he gets the money. Guy shows him it's basically a sewer entrance, like a sort of water duct, and they go in, and basically it starts raining, like it starts pissing down heavy to the point where they get flooded back out the way they came in. And luckily, because I was actually thinking during this whole thing, so this is now night time, right? We've it's at least a few hours since the whole stuff at the visitor centre. And I'm thinking to myself, well, sure, Kevin and Nora probably are trying to do something for him, even if like they're not supposed to be able to. And it's right at this moment, when they've been like out in the rain and they're soaking wet, where you hear Nora shouting out for him, and that's when they're there. They're there to smuggle them back in. They're assuming because they're in chaos, because as Nora puts it, an anonymous call for the missing girls got put out for the town, like next to them or whatever. So. The light on forces, so they're assuming they're going to get waved in, the trunk won't be searched, and they get in. And it's actually this great little well, not romantic, but kind of romantic, but it's a scene inside the trunk with the red light, which is what's lighting them up. And Matt basically tells Mary, who's obviously still catatonic, that no matter what he does, he's going to find her. He tells a story about when they were like sharing a really small bed when they were on holiday, back when they first got married, and how romantic it was. And he's talking about how it's one of these great moments where one of the main themes of the show comes in. It's the same as well with when he was asking John the questions. That was another big main theme of the show, like coming in the music.
There was. Well, there's still a lot of source music in this episode as well. I can't stop noticing it. That there's so much more.
But you keep saying that as if it's a complaint. Get used to it. Clearly, that's just how it is now. There's not that many. There was one at the start, one at the end.
There was a couple more than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was mostly score. I was noticing the score way more than I was noticing the source music. And even if it wasn't, that wouldn't be a problem. You just keep bringing it up like it's a complaint. I don't get it. It's weird.
It's bothering me. There's so much of it compared to what there was.
There was like 2. All right, get over it.
I can think of at least 3.
What was the third one?
There was one when they're in the outside town bit.
Was that like played over though? Was that soundtrack or was that in scene?
It started as a soundtrack and then shifted into scene.
Okay. Hey ho. But anyway, so the car stops and they get out and there's this car that's crashed and there's all these goats on the road. But better tell Tim not to watch the leftovers.
He'll be visibly upset at this.
He'll get upset by this. I just immediately assumed it's going to be the dad and the son. It's going to be them.
It is, and obviously you mentioned earlier, how it's very biblical.
Yeah.
Is there anything more biblical than a pile of dead goats?
Yeah, hell, pile of any dead animal, to be honest. This is pretty biblical feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's given this opportunity. He goes up. he takes the wristband off the dead dad. The kid's there. The kid's been, he's survived. He's like standing near the wreck, and he looks over. And again, it's this sort of beautiful little moment where it's like the kid. He says to the kid, "Oh, that's mine," and the kid kind of offers it. Like he takes it off and kind of like, and you kind of like the idea that the kid maybe didn't approve of what his father did. Like
Yeah.
he saw the horror in it, and he wasn't really willing to go along with it. Um, and you think, oh, he's kind of got his way out. He's going to be back in the town. He's got his wristbands. And you think,
I was convinced he was just gonna tell the boy to keep it.
I was thinking that as well. I was thinking that was a possibility. Um, but he didn't. Of course, he did take it. But he did go a different route. He tells Nora and Kevin, look after Mary. I'm going to be gone for a while. And they agree, kind of reluctantly, because like, where are you going? Like, why are you doing this? And basically, he waits for John. He waits in the middle of the road for John with this kid. Says, "Wait, this kid needs some help. His father's dead. See that he gets some help." And he holds up his wristband and says, "I don't want your wristband." And it's basically the idea that he doesn't want to prove his worth. He doesn't want to lie. He doesn't want to, lower himself for John's vendetta or John's.
That's it. We saw he was willing to lie to get in when Mary needed to get in, but now she's in and she's safe. Back to same old Matt.
Yeah, he's just not willing to do it. And he looks him in the eyes and he says, "No, my wife woke up that night. It was a miracle. It happened." And when she wakes up again, he basically puts his entire sort of livelihood on the line here, where he says, "When she wakes up again, you'll see, and I'll come back." And it's almost like he's putting a bet on it. He's like saying, "No, it's going to happen." And
This is his blind faith coming in again.
And what I think is so fascinating is like John's so dead set against it. He's like, no miracles happen in Miracle. That is his hard line, to the point where he's weaning out people who believe that and getting rid of them. Like, he's so dead set against it. And I think it's really interesting that these two now are like opposite forces, and he's made this bet with him almost. Yeah. I'm really fascinated to see like where this goes. Does Mary wake up?
Yeah.
Does it happen? I can see the baby surviving, but her not, like the pregnancy. I feel like that's maybe a way this could go.
Yeah, I can see it.
And the idea that they've swapped, like, in terms of the life force, it's swapped her for the baby so that someone can live on instead of her. I can see that being kind of the way it goes. But I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Because part of me feels like it'll be. I don't see them just having her wake up and having her be okay.
It feels too easy, doesn't it?
But at the same time, I'm imagining how good that moment might be, like how they could pull it off. So I don't know. It's tricky. But Matt walks out of town. He leaves. He walks into the sort of the surrounding park area where all these hippies and various other, let's face it, desperate people are waiting to try and get in and celebrating this place. And he kind of guessed where he's going. I think once he gets to a certain point. And he goes, he's like, "Yeah, I want to free that man." And he starts taking off his clothes. He goes up on top, and he goes into the stocks, which is not the correct word. We know it. Which, by the way, says "repent" on it. Which you see that earlier on, but you get a big close up of it here. It says "repent," and that's how we end the episode. We end the episode with him sort of in them naked.
And I assume he's repenting for that moment where he decided he would lie.
Yeah, I can definitely see
that. I think that's weighing on him already, because we know what he's like.
I think it's that. I think it's also just the idea that he knew he could help this person, and I think it's equally that he didn't help this person. Like, he knew he could, and he didn't.
He was so focused on his own problems that he didn't, and that's not Matt that we've seen time and time again. He drops everything to help these people.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how long is he here for the rest of the season until something happens that gets him out of it?
I don't know. That seems extreme, doesn't it?
It does, especially since I think eventually your health would be at risk because you're standing outside naked all night for however long, days. Because presumably they need to feed whoever's up there.
I assume they give him food and water. Yeah.
But I don't know. But I'm curious. It's funny. I don't think I like this one as much as the first Matt episode. I think this is the first time where I can do a direct comparison to something in season 1 and say that I preferred the season 1 one a little bit better.
I think season 1 hit a little harder because it kind of came out of nowhere, really. I didn't really know what. Whereas here, I was kind of expecting. Like you say, you went into it with that feeling of apprehension.
You were predicting the beats, yeah.
So it almost felt repetitive in that sense. They played very thematically. It played very similar to the previous one.
Yeah.
So I do think that first one worked a little bit better because it was a shock.
Yeah. Certainly good though. Certainly.
Still a very good episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really curious to see where this leaves things for everyone else going forward, and I think it's interesting we're now halfway through the season and we've only had one episode with Tom and Laurie. Like it'll be,
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they were briefly in like episode 2 for like a scene, but like beyond that, we've only had one episode on them. So now that we are like halfway through the season, now it's kind of like reshaping my ideas of what this, because I think when we saw the first episode, I thought there'd be this growing tension between Kevin and John throughout the season. I expected that's where the season was going, and even at the end of the second episode when it was revealed that he was there that night,
it felt like it's just pushing it further in that direction, didn't it?
Yeah, but now that we're 5 episodes in and where we are right now, I feel like it can't just play out the obvious way that I was expecting it to, because there's not enough episodes really for it to play out that exact way. I mean, last episode already like altered our expectations. Like we got to the point where he knew about the fires so quickly compared to what we thought.
We thought that'd be like towards the end of the season.
So it's really interesting, sort of seeing how it's subverting my. Because it's funny. I mean, maybe that's why this episode does, while very good, does falter compared to its companion in season 1, is because everything else up until now has done a very good job of subverting my expectations. Just think of the end of that Laurie Tom episode. I didn't see it going there. Like with him having the hugging powers. Like, come on, like that blew my mind. So I guess that's why this one feels that way compared to the other 4.
There's still some interesting bits in this episode we've not spoke about yet, though. So when they're outside and Mary wakes up and she says to him, the baby won't last out here. And she says, he won't last. So we've got to get in the town. And when they're I think it's in the visitor centre, there's a guy who basically like repeats that sentiment to Matt. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, he really rephrases it in a weirder way though, because it's not even clear that we get that he's talking about a baby, but the way he phrases it never sounds like it's actually a baby. He just says he will die. Like taken on its own, you could almost think that sounds like anyone, like
anyone, right?
We talk about Kevin, we talk about whoever.
Yeah, and Matt's like, what? And she goes, oh, that's what she said, and he said, that's what who said, and he looks over at Mary, and it's another one of these almost psychic moments that we've had.
Yeah, with Virgil, with Isaac, like all these different characters that we've seen in the town.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is this tying into whatever happened to John? Like Matt asked, what happened to you? Why don't you believe in miracles? Is it something to do with one of these psychics that's scared him? Something to do with his son, perhaps? Or is it the fact that one of these miracles didn't happen for him? Because he mentions that, his wife, someone lost their hearing.
Mm.
And they didn't get it back. Why did they not get the miracle?
Yeah, it was his wife,
yeah, because he says, does God love your wife more than mine? Is he just?
It can't just be that.
It can't just be. But
that's far too.
No, that's the thing. It's too vague, isn't it? There's going to be something specific.
He's just angry because the one thing his condition his wife has.
Right.
I don't. It can't just be that.
I don't think it's that example. But is there a miracle that he was waiting for that didn't happen? Like, not that, but something else.
Maybe.
I think it has to do with these people, obviously, because that's what he's so concerned about. So it's either a case of one of them did something that hurt him, or something didn't happen to him, alternatively. I think they're the two options.
I think there's a third.
Go on.
He hears it as well. And this mirrors with Kevin's plot because he's also fighting a voice that he hears.
And you think he's scared of accepting that?
Yeah, it's basically kind of how like someone who is scared that they're like hates the idea of being gay, but they're realizing they're being gay, so they act out like extra homophobic
Right,
to
because
everyone
they're
else.
scared of it and
Yeah,
don't want to accept it. Yeah.
kind of that idea, but with the voices in his head. And I can almost see, and this is just a complete random guess on my part, but I can almost see like if they went down that route, like that would be how him and Kevin kind of bond because they're both fighting the same kind of thing
Yeah. No, that could work.
in a weird way. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really getting intrigued by that. That something has happened to do with these.
I feel like waiting for a miracle that didn't happen just feels a bit too wishy-washy, and like unless he was specifically told something would happen. And the funny
Yeah.
thing is, Isaac told him something bad would happen, then it did. So
Right.
so he has evidence to suggest that, like, I mean, he's writing it off. He assumed it was him that did something to her at first because he wasn't willing to believe that it was just a premonition or whatever. But
Right.
it makes me think that something like that's not. It could have been something like something bad happened because of it. But I like the idea that it's actually because he's one of them and he's trying to fight it.
It could be interesting.
Um,
I'm getting really intrigued by it because this theme keeps popping up, and I really want to know. I hope we get, like some things I don't mind if we don't get answers for, but this is one of the things I want a solid answer. I want to know. I want to know what's going on inside his head.
Oh, I think you'll get that. The show's never. It backs away from the answering the unexplainable, but it never backs away from why the characters are doing something.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't think we have any fear of that.
No.
But no, so no, it was a good episode. Obviously, it just pales a little bit compared to the first four, but it's by no means not good. So good stuff. And obviously, the whole premise of things is very cringeworthy because the idea that he did do that, and the idea that people will look at him like that. The funny thing is, I do like that he told Nora about this waking up thing before
this came
news.
out. Yeah.
Because had it come after, well, she might still want to believe him. The fact that she heard it before he even knew she was pregnant gives it less of a this is an excuse feel to it. It makes it feel more genuine.
And there is no way he knew before this. I mean, even I think even John would be clear to say that he didn't know before this because that's what the paper was there for.
Yeah, he knows
that discovery. That was him finding out today.
Yeah, that's how they found out. So they knew he didn't know before that. And I think because she knew that first, because he told her that story before this, she will believe him and she'll be more inclined to defend him. At least believe that he believes it completely.
Definitely.
She might doubt it depending on where her plot goes, where her mindset is at. Because to be fair, it's a rather hard thing to believe.
But obviously, we've got to remember she needs to believe in this. That's the whole thing. She needs to believe in the miracles and the safety of this town.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to cling to it and defend it, even not necessarily for Mary and Matt, but cling to it for herself.
Well, yeah, maybe. I think she'll be connected to it, but I don't think necessarily. Like, it could equally just go down the path of she'll start to doubt that it's real, and because of that, it'll deteriorate her own state of mind about everything else because it is connected in that sense.
Yeah, that could happen as well.
But like, so I could see her defending it like adamantly at first, but as it maybe some evidence piles up that says no, it's not looking likely, or maybe there's reason to doubt. I think that'll break her down maybe. As the season goes on or whatever.
Yeah, I think if Matt mentions the incident outside of the town, I think that's when people would start doubting, like people like her would start doubting him more. Because if it can happen in his head once, why couldn't it happen again? Like how you questioned, it planted first seeds of doubt. So if he mentions that, then it's like, well, if it can happen once, why not then?
Well, that's where it might disprove your theory that he even doesn't believe that one was real.
Right, exactly.
Because if he brings that up, he might adamantly defend that and say, no, she did wake up again briefly to tell me something.
If he does that, obviously, my idea was shot to hell.
But that one definitely felt like it was just in his head. And, maybe it wasn't, but it definitely felt like it. And it almost makes you wonder, like, what if the night he arrived, it wasn't that she actually woke up, it's that the town has an effect. But the effect is that he heard her in another way. Kind of like how this man heard her. What she said before.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Maybe that's like, people are projecting.
Yeah, like, it's not that she actually woke up. It's just like everyone else seems to be hearing things. Like this man specifically hears her what she was thinking, or at least what he thought she was thinking earlier. Maybe that's what this is. It's that when he's in a certain state, he can, quote unquote, pick up the frequency.
Right, that's it. And that was a a completely separate, independent verification of what she was thinking. This other man, because he had no way to know that's what Matt thought.
No, that's quite right. Like him sort of echoing the same sentiment that she'd already said. That at least plants a firm flag and says, no, there's something going on. It's not just all in his head. It can't be, because there's something more to this. But that thing, I mean, it's vague enough that maybe, but in this show, I doubt it.
Right.
So
there's also in this, again, this is the theme of divine intervention. We had it with Kevin and the block, and then the lake draining, and then here, the goats and the accident. It's like this is this sort of divine intervention to make sure that they get the wristbands back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It keeps coming up.
Is this Matt then taking the wrong message again and going to repent when he should just stay with his wife?
Yeah, it's like, no, you're supposed to have these back. You're supposed to be here.
But your self-righteousness and you're unwilling to do what needs to be done is actually against you. Your own worst enemy. Kind of like how Kevin's his own worst enemy.
Right. It's another recurring theme, isn't it?
Yeah. So, or I mean, maybe that'll apply to John once we learn more about him. Like maybe he himself is to blame. Like if I'm saying with the whole he heard something and he's trying to ignore it.
What if he heard something?
That's what I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Or no, what if he heard something and he tried to do something about it, but it led to something bad? And then that's where he oh no, I'm crazy. I need to make sure no one else is doing this. Yeah. Or maybe he did ignore it and something. Well, no, because I think if he ignored it and something bad happened, that would be
more inclined to listen to it.
Yeah, he'd be more inclined to go down the path of, okay, this is something. I feel like either he's just ignoring it in general because he's scared of being crazy, kind of like Kevin is, which completely believable, or he did follow whatever he thought he was supposed to do from what he was hearing, and it led to something worse. Someone
dying or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe. So it's curious. Now, I know Patty said the girls did actually go poof. I still feel like they're going to turn up.
Well, she didn't say they went poof. They vanished. Like they vanished. She could have been being very vague. Like we know
sure,
she's.
Yeah. The way she said it, though,
it is. I've been thinking maybe she's playing word games.
Okay, yeah, sure. Maybe she is playing word games, but
I wouldn't put it past her, is all.
It felt very much like the way she said it, though, was like. You haven't asked, but they did actually just disappear like everyone's thinking they did.
Right. She said it like implying no, it was a departure, but she never used those words. She said they vanished.
That's true. I'm still half expecting them to turn up, especially because, like we spoke about last week, they've set up the idea that some people fake it and say it was a departure. We spoke about that last time, so well, not last week. You know what I mean? Last review,
last episode.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that'll do us for this one. So yeah, let us know what you think of episode 5 of season 2 of The Leftovers in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, you can head over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv and maybe even make us do more of these alreadys of more shows and things potentially. But that is us. So thank you very much once again for watching. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time.